Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is awesome! This is awesome! What's up, Cheap Shot Nation? You're watching Cheap Shot Entertainment and I am your host Luke, and we're going to take you through everything that happened at Wrestlegate Pro Emerald Grand Prix. It took place on the 6th of July 2019 and it came to you from the Rushcliffe Arena, the spiritual home of Wrestlegate here in the East Midlands, and we saw a fantastic show. We've got a lot of action to get through for you. The Emerald Grand Prix breaks down like this. We've got two blocks of wrestlers, and each wrestler in each block goes against the other wrestler. There's 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 points for a loss. We didn't see any draws in this match, so we got two very clear winners and two wrestlers that I think are going to be fantastic in that final match to decide the Wrestlegate Pro Heavyweight Champion of the world, the first ever heavyweight champion here on Wrestlegate. In Wrestlegate, rather, not here. We're at Cheap Shot Entertainment, and the championship was on display. It looked absolutely beautiful. You can see that here, and you can see the blocks of wrestlers round about there. So a little bit like a scale. Yeah, no. Anyway, you can join us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and hit that subscribe button to know when we upload new content to the channel. This is the second wrestling show we've seen in July. We've got a lot more for you, so go and check out cheapshotentertainment.blogspot.co.uk to get a full rundown and links to where you can buy the tickets to where we are going in July. And also let us know where you're going in July. Maybe you're not in the East Midlands, but you check out Cheap Shot Entertainment to catch your fix of East Midlands wrestling on YouTube. Let us know where you're going in the weekends leading up to August, which obviously leads us to SummerSlam and some really big shows for the UK, including Fight Club Pro, and obviously we have then NXT UK takeover in Cardiff as well, which we're going to do a whole weekend of shows because there's lots of wrestling going off on that weekend, and I've booked the weekend off work. Yay! Anyway, let's get on with the show. I'm going to say we've got a lot of wrestling to get through here on Cheap Shot Entertainment for Wrestlegate Pro Emerald Grand Prix. We go straight into the action with a bracket A match in the Emerald Grand Prix. It is Rampage versus Joe Doering, and I've never seen Joe Doe, and he was fantastic. I love his character. His t-shirt was fantastic as well. Take on Red Dead Redemption. Really good t-shirt. If I had the money spare, I would have absolutely bought one of these t-shirts. And he was really good in the ring, taking Rampage to the limit in this match. So like I say, it was Rampage versus Joe Doering, or Doring, or whatever you call, whatever your last name is. Sorry, Joe, I didn't quite catch it when they was announcing it. I did spell it right though, because I did check it up. Anyway, yeah, really good match, and like I say, you've got this Emerald Grand Prix was called the Heavyweight Grand Prix. It is now the Emerald Grand Prix, going back to its roots in Japanese wrestling culture, obviously. So yeah, you've just got loads of hoss fights in this show, and this was a hoss fight, but they're done right. You've got two big guys, two hard-hitting guys. They're running into each other, they're ramming into each other, they're shoulder blocking each other, and everything that gets hit in this match is very heavy going indeed. But it would be Rampage that would pick up the victory, earning 2 points in his block, and with the third person being the Japanese wrestler who would go against Jodo in the second match of the Block A. So yeah, Rampage picks up the win. He picks up 2 points in his Block A match against Jodo Ring via a pile driver. Poor Jodo does get dropped on his head quite a lot. I do hope that he is absolutely fine. Probably why he wears that hat, I don't know. Yeah, so we go into the second match now. It is a triple threat match. It is Sean Custom. We've seen him quite a lot in Wrestlegate Pro. We've seen him quite a lot on other shows as well. In the Southside Wrestling show we went to, we saw him there, but he was obviously there with Xia Brookside. He had his own match. Xia Brookside was on the first show, which was an all-ladies show, which was very good. Sean Custom, we get to see Scotty Davis again, the Supreme Suplex Machine, and Martin Kirby with the whoop 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 Zoidberg elbow, and he almost hit a double Zoidberg elbow. This was definitely the comedy relief of the show. Martin Kirby playing his usual sort of jokey self. Didn't like him as a heel. Don't think he works very well as a heel. I think he works much better as a fan favourite. It would be Sean Custom who would pick up the win in this match. Very good match as well. Obviously there's a lot of matches to get through. It was a very quick match. It was very quick match, fast-paced match, lots of high flying. Like I say, we got to see the Zoidberg elbow, which was really cool. That's going to be my thumbnail for this video, just to let you know. Anyway, yeah, it would be Sean Custom who would pick up the victory on over Martin Kirby, with Scotty Davis outside the ring with the Dino Blaster. I think that's what he called it, Dino Blaster on Martin Kirby. Sean Custom is your winner in this triple threat match. Really good match, and good to break up the other matches in the Emerald Grand Prix. So we go into a bracket B match now. It is Gabriel Kidd, the hometown boy, the should be fan favourite. He's come in with a bit of an attitude. No one really likes him at this point, but that would change later on in the show. And he is going against Jody Fleisch, the British wrestling legend. I remember watching him on the Wrestling Channel on Sky when that was a thing, and they tried to get the British wrestling scene out there for people to watch, and no one did, so they got rid of the Wrestling Channel, and I was really upset. But then I didn't have Sky afterwards, so it didn't really make any difference. Well, that was the first sort of idea of having a channel dedicated to wrestling, and British wrestling at that. There was LDN wrestling on there, old school wrestling on there from World of Sport. We used to be watching that. Couldn't believe how boring that actually was. I appreciate where British wrestling been, but I'm very much into the new age of British wrestling. 1 fall to a finish rather than 2 out of 3 falls or whatever, and yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? But another really good match. Really, Gabriel Kidd had a massively good showing in this match. Change of heart after the match, after Jody Fleisch would win with a shooting star press. Gabriel Kidd did then announce that he was heading off to LA. He'd signed for a Japanese company. I think he's signed for New Japan, which I will check on as well, just to check whether I'm saying it right. Yeah, it was really cool, and he cut a promo as a. Jody Fleisch said, "Shake my hand," and he did. A lot of respect there, and we get the third entrant into the bracket B of the Emerald Grand Prix. Lucas Steele comes out and cuts a promo on Gabriel Kidd, saying, "You're in your hometown, you've just lost, and everyone is booing you." Perfect timing from the heel here, because then everyone starts cheering for Gabriel Kidd. He is the hometown boy, and he says, "This may be my last match in my hometown for a while, so let's do it now." It is Gabriel Kidd versus Lucas Steele. Straight away, the second match of the bracket B in the Emerald Grand Prix. But it would be Gabriel Kidd picking up two losses in quick succession in his hometown of Nottingham after a steel bomb from Lucas Steele. Yeah, he is the standout. Lucas Steele is being billed as an absolute monster, and he absolutely is. That's why where they're going with Lucas Steele. He seems to be hot wherever he goes. He was when we saw New Generation Wrestling, or Next Generation Wrestling. I think it's New Generation Wrestling actually. Last time I went to go and see Wrestlegate, and he obviously won his matches on Wrestlegate and New Generation Wrestling there as well. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I like Lucas Steele because I can boo him and really mean it, but I appreciate him as a wrestler, which is really cool. But yeah, Steel Bomb, he picks up 2 points over Gabriel Kidd. Gabriel Kidd cuts promo again, saying, you know, it may be his last time, but thank you, Nottingham. Everyone stands up, everyone applauds Gabriel Kidd. He's putting East Midlands wrestling on the map. Basically, he was in World of Sport, he had a trial with WWE, and now he's going over to LA because he's signed for a company over there, which is really, really cool. So yeah, good luck to Gabriel Kidd, and I know he trained with Styx in Nottingham, someone who I know quite well, having done some work for him for House of Pain Wrestling. So we then go back to bracket A. It is now Joe Doring in his second match of the bracket A competitors, and he is going against Shuji Ishikawa with a special guest referee in tow as well, probably to bridge the language barrier. But I was really impressed with Shuji and how quick he was, how hard hitting he was. Like I say, it was just a massive hoss fight throughout this show, and it was really good. It was heavyweight wrestling at its best, with, you know, not just like loads of power bombs, loads of heavy moves, but some real sort of hard hitting flying moves as well. Not just running into each other. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves to see two like trucks bashing into each other. That's why we like things like Rocket League. But it would be Joe Doring who would pick up his second loss in bracket A, and Ishikawa would hit the Ishikawa driver. That's what I'm going to call it. It looked like a Takamichinoku driver on Joe Doring, and like I say, poor Joe, he does get dropped on his head quite a lot during this show, but it would lead us to a clear winner in the last match, which would be Ishikawa versus Rampage, to decide who would go on to the finals on the 5th of October 2019 in Rushcliffe Arena, somewhere where we're hoping to get to again in October. We next get a bridge match. It is Nathan Cruz versus Bobby Guns. Never seen Bobby Guns. He has a gimmick where he's a smoker and he's sponsored by Marlboro, and he comes out with a cigarette and stuff like that. People seem to be really into him. I was into him by the time I'd finished with this match, but he would ultimately come up short against Nathan Cruz, a wrestler who is known as the Professional. He has appeared on 5-Star Wrestling. Remember 5-Star Wrestling? We went to a 5-Star Wrestling show. I may do a rise and fall of 5-Star Wrestling video if I can find enough information on them. He was at 5-Star. He was on World of Sports as well. And he's also appeared in Hope Wrestling, and he is a staple of British wrestling, British indie wrestling here in the East Midlands. And it would be the Professional who would pick up the win over Bobby Guns with a crippler, not a crippler, crossface, cut that bit out, beep, with a crossface on Bobby Guns, who couldn't take the pain and tapped out straight away. Really good match, lots of technical wrestling in there, lots of hard hitting as well, lots of flying, fighting outside the ring. Obviously Nathan Cruz riling up the crowd, which got them more involved with Bobby Guns. And yeah, it was a really good match, really even match, really hard fought contest, but Nathan Cruz would ultimately come up as the victor in this one. We get the second bracket B match, the third bracket B match, with the winner going on to the final. It would be Lucas Steele versus Jody Fleisch, the veteran versus the young blood, so to speak. Lucas Steele would eventually pick up the victory. It was very much one-way traffic in this one. I was really surprised in this one with Jody Fleisch hitting some high-flying moves, and he can still move around for a guy that's past 40, and he's looking really good actually. And yeah, fast becoming. I remember Jody Fleisch on LDN on the wrestling channel on Sky. He was one of the highlights of that, and he still is one of the highlights of Wrestlegate Pro as well, appearing in both shows that we've been to. Fantastic. I love Jody Fleisch. He's absolutely brilliant. But like I say, I like Lucas Steele as well. And ultimately he will go on to the final on October the 5th for Wrestlegate Pro, to face the winner of Bracket A, which is between Ishikawa and Rampage for that one. But he would win with a chokeslam on Jody Fleisch, grounding the high flyer, the high flying veteran in this match, picking up his second victory and ultimately winning that bracket. 4 points to the good, with Jody Fleisch picking up 2, and yeah, obviously Gabriel Kidd picking up 0 points in this one. Tag team action next. It is Addicted to Adrenaline A2A, which is Bourne and Lando, and they would go against the Frontline, representing the Frontline wrestling show that we saw earlier on in the day. He would represent that. It's the OJMO and Callum Newman who would pick up the victory, incidentally, in this one. So again, we get Frontline going over the more experienced duo of Bourne and Lando. Addicted to Adrenaline. Again, weird match. We'd stood up at this point and we'd had to move to the side because there's people trying to watch it behind us. The seats, standard leisure centre seating, and I had to stand up. My back was really hurting by this point, having seen one show and then a second show as well. Didn't take away from the match. It was really, really good. Great tag team wrestling. Not sure whether it was fought under Lucha Rules. Didn't really get that vibe of the Lucha Rules. I was told it was. Basically, Lucha Rules is you don't have to get tags. You can just roll out of the ring and then your partner can get in. So really, it is a case of keeping your opponents inside the ring. I quite like Lucha Rules. It makes it a bit different. But yeah, the winners are the OGMO and Callum Newman via a roll-up. Again, bit of a weird finish for two high-flying tag teams, but it got the job done. I was expecting again something a bit more involved for the finish in this match. Didn't take away from the match at all. Just I thought the finish could have done with a little bit more polish on this one. That's not to say that you shouldn't go and watch these guys. They are brilliant. Obviously we saw Callum Newman and the OJMO in Frontline Wrestling, which I've already said go and watch. Incidentally, A2A were against M. I think there was M and M. I don't know. It was something like that against those guys in March, and they had a fantastic match as well. So yeah, roll-up victory for this one. And the final match of the evening would be the final match in bracket A, and the winner would advance again to the finals of the Wrestlegate Pro Championship match on October the 5th in the Rushcliffe Arena. It would be Rampage, and he would go against Shuji Ishikawa, who put away Jodo earlier in the show. So we would get a clear winner unless there was a draw, which I don't think was ever going to happen between these two. You've got the crowd really buzzing for this one. Ishikawa has turned the crowd in his favour on this one. Rampage is always a crowd favourite at Wrestlegate Pro, and really good match this. Fighting outside the ring, Ishikawa hits the Ishikawa driver on Rampage on the apron. Two massive guys, drops Rampage on his head on the hardest part of the ring. And in Wrestlegate Pro, they do utilise a 20 count rather than a 10 count. Rampage would get back in the ring on a 19 count before the referee could hit 20. Again, we have the All Japan Pro Wrestling referee in the ring for this one. Two fantastic giant wrestlers going at each other, ramming against each other like trucks. Just a massive hoss fight. Really good action in the ring, and it would be Rampage who would fight against the adversity of being dropped on his head on the apron of the ring, with Ishikawa dominating most of the match, which I was really surprised about, and Rampage coming back, hitting the spike DDT in the ring, sort of like execution move, and he would pick up the victory over Ishikawa, and it would be Rampage who will now go against Lucas Steele in the main event of the next Wrestlegate show, which we'll get round to telling you about in the closing segment of this video. Really good show. Again, another very solid show. A couple of short matches. The finish of the tag team match, the second, shall we say, it was the lead up to the main event, was a bit disappointing, but a really good match nonetheless. And again, this brought the star rating down to about 4 for me. Really good, really solid, 8 out of 10 for both shows combined. That makes it really good to me. So yeah, let's get to the outro, and I'll give you some links. So behind me right now is the advertisement for the finals of the Emerald Grand Prix. It is Lucas Steele versus Rampage Brown, who we got a picture with before the show, on the 5th of October, Gate of Honor, Wrestlegate Pro. So yeah, definitely one to look forward to, that one. Obviously it's only that match that's been announced. We know that match is going to happen. Again, really solid show, really solid, 4 out of 5 for me. Not quite, I enjoyed the last show more, the one in March, but maybe that was down to that one match that I have now put on Facebook because it was available free from Wrestlegate Pro. So thank you very much, Gary Ward, for that one. I've put a link to that on our Facebook page. Go and check it out. It was Chris Ridgway versus Konosuke Takeshita, and it was absolutely phenomenal. But the last match in this show was absolutely phenomenal as well, and yeah, definitely gave that solid 4 out of 5 star rating for me. And yeah, really good show. 2 really fantastic shows. It cost us 30 quid each, all in. Seeing 2 fantastic wrestling shows, all day wrestling, £30. Can't go wrong with that, really, can you? And it was slightly more involved than the £5 shows that we usually go to, but I love those shows as well. Future and House of Pain, they're brilliant, and Aspire. I love Aspire Wrestling, do a lot of great stuff in the community of Derby, my home city. Anyway, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Obviously, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to know when we upload new content to the channel, which is weekly with the NXT shows. And yeah, we're looking at trying to get some more stuff there. So don't forget to hit up cheapshotentertainment.blogspot.co.uk. Got a lot of contributors coming in to work on that blogspot as well, that website, as well as checking out our travels with football. I know this is a wrestling show, but we are planning on travelling around and putting 50p in a pot for every goal that we see in the matches that we go and watch, and then donating that money to charity. Our chosen charity this time is Movember. It was an easy decision for me. A charity that I've supported for many years, and they do a lot of really good work for men's health in general, fighting male cancers and things like that. So definitely with the things I enjoy doing, like watching wrestling and watching football, that is something that's close to my heart. And having seen a few wrestlers either take their own lives through having mental issues, having mental struggles, having a few friends that also have those struggles as well, and the few wrestlers that have obviously had to battle with cancer, with the big C word, including Chris Travis, who sadly lost his battle with cancer. And we're going to the Soccer and Spandex on the 27th of July in Sheffield to raise money for that as well. So that'll be really cool. Yeah, so if you like the video, do all those YouTubey type stuff. You are the Cheap Shot Nation. I have been your host Luke, and you have been watching Cheap Shot Entertainment. This is our review of Wrestlegate Pro Emerald Grand Prix. Fantastic show. Looking forward to October when they come back again. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.